Kicking over. All right. Now, all right. Time to hit some live buttons over on
What do
Facebook.
I have over here? Oh, why am I not doing this? Okay.
All right. Looks like Facebook is kicking on. It's like an old Chrysler on a wet, damp morning. Bad ignition
Oh,
system does
get it
not want
warmed
to
up. Come
start.
on, let's go. Come on, get it warmed up. Let's
Spins
go.
but spins but won't fire. Yeah. All right. Says it's connecting, so we'll give it a minute here. So, at any rate, we are currently live on YouTube. So, happy Thursday. Made it through just about another week, just about over and done with, right?
Oh
Everyone hanging
gosh,
in there? Everyone doing all right?
that 3 day
Yeah,
weekend. That 3 day weekend was rough. Going back on Monday.
it really was.
That yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I flew in from Edinburgh on the Friday, the 20th. I left on the Monday afternoon, didn't arrive back because the time difference, didn't arrive back to Edinburgh until 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning.
Oh gracious.
And then
Oof.
a few hours later, my wife and I and some pals got in the car and drove down to England to Glastonbury Music Festival.
Ooh.
And then, so I didn't get a rest until the following Tuesday when we finally got home. So it was, so I came to Martha's Vineyard just by myself and then came home. Then we went straight to Glastonbury on the same day I arrived home. So I was tired.
I see that. Yeah, but look what you did
Oh,
though. I mean,
Oh yeah, it was
Jaws at
pretty wild.
Jaws at Glastonbury. Oh my God, you can't get any better than that.
I'd never been to Martha's Vineyard before, and I'd never been to Glastonbury before. So it was
Oh,
a full on week.
oh,
No, it was amazing. I was so I'd booked the flights and the hotels and stuff before they announced a couple of things, so I didn't get to see the documentary, but I'm definitely going to watch that tomorrow.
yes, yes, it's on tonight.
it's very, very good, very well done. If you've
Yep.
seen the 30th, this is done from a completely different standpoint.
Yeah,
I don't
even
want to
just
give any spoilers, but
no,
yeah,
even just the trailer alone looks like the first time seeing a lot of behind the scenes footage, and we've all
Mhm,
seen the same behind the scenes footage for
mhm.
years and years and years. And even just the kind of just watching the trailer, just like goosebumps. Like never really thought I'd hear it before, but it's when Spielberg's asked, what do you have to say about Jaws? Like what have you not said? And then when Spielberg just says, "Let's find out," you're kind of it's very exciting. Considering, as you'll have all done as well, we've watched every single behind the scenes featurette or documentary there is available.
Mhm.
And it really does, and some of them are quite samey. They're all good, and they're all entertaining, but they're all kind of similar. I think the first one that kind of broke the mold was the shark is still working, and
Yep.
then,
yeah,
and then
Yeah, yeah,
this one looks even more interesting. So,
yep.
no, I'm excited. It's like excited to finally watch it.
yeah. It's really done well. We had a chance to interview Lorena Vizero, who does the documentary. We were lucky enough to do that while on the island, and yeah, it was pretty amazing to be able to get to see it. Just incredible, incredibly well done. I mean, the way he tells it as a story is basically what he does this time, as opposed
So,
to when he did the 30th, it was more or less kind of interviews because it was the first time it really been done. And yeah, just I just love his take on it this time. So
yeah, because his career is crazy, right? Because he's done pretty much all of the behind the scenes stuff for Spielberg on every film for a long time. But this
sure,
is the first time that he's done like a feature length documentary, or at least it's it feels quite separate from the other ones were special features on DVDs and things like that, whereas this one feels like it's a documentary on its in its own right. It's
Like a
right,
like a full length movie documentary.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
awesome, great. Well, we are going to be hitting on a little bit of Jaws 50th anniversary. This is recap episode 2. There were so many things that went on and we're covered that we couldn't shove it all into 1 hour. So we are back for round number 2 here tonight, guys. And if you haven't figured it out already, we've got a special guest on tonight, John Campbell, new to the show. So, John, I want to thank you for coming on tonight, bud. Really appreciate it. Coming all the way from Scotland. So our UK friends are gonna love to see that we've got someone else hanging out with him. So very, very cool. Yeah. And tonight we're going to kind of hit on some of the other events that we had touched on. But before we do, just a heads up, you guys that are
Nate.
watching, yes.
Yeah.
Mike, I can hear your phone through the feed, bud. Your
Okay,
other
I was
phone.
just checking to see how far behind I was with you guys. Were you talking about
Somebody put the reverb pedal on Mike.
were you guys talking about Laurent? About the documentary?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yep. Can you hear us, Mike?
Okay, yeah, he did the full length the 2-hour documentary on Jaws that was on the Laserdisc set in 1995.
Mm-hmm. That was the 30th anniversary, I believe, right?
Should have been 20th. It was 95.
Oh, 95. I'm sorry. Wow, look at me doing math in summer.
20th, yes.
That could happen.
1 + 1 = 22. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have Robert also joining us from Scotland tonight. Hey, fellow Scotsman. Yes, Robert. Robert, John said, I'm coming from Scotland. I said, well, we've got another one of you guys over here. So
Yeah, I love Scotland. Okay.
Awesome. Very cool. And you guys at home, just so you know, we are only broadcasting on YouTube and Jaws 50 page. For whatever reason, it's not working over on our other page tonight, on the Jaws live page tonight. So I do apologize for that, but we are up and running here on Jaws 50. And we've got a handful of people on there. We got Todd Hickerson is on saying hello. Jamie's hanging out with us. And Victor, our 3 Canadian buddies, are all spending time with
Oh
us.
my
tonight.
God, Canada's in the house. Hello.
Canada is well represented tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely. Very nice, guys. Glad to have you guys on. Yeah, and Victor's saying, yep, the National Geographic. Yeah, definitely documentary is out now. So awesome. So let's hit on let's hit on a couple things here. The first thing I thought we could maybe hit on is a little bit, and if you know me, I'm always vehicle obsessed, and that was some of the vehicles that we saw on the island. Now we definitely saw Martin driving around, and that is Gabe's 74 Chevy Blazer, fully restored around town. And he called me up the one night and said, "Hey, would you come over? I'm showing it on Circuit Avenue at Red Cat Kitchen. Would you come over? I'll be there from 6 to 8." And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And went over, and he had it out, and the amount of people that were around and coming around and walking up, it was just really, really cool. Taking pictures of it. You had to kind of watch it though, because some people were getting a little looking through the back to see what was in the truck and opening the door, or someone trying to get in. I'm like, you know what I mean?
Well, he let me kiss it, so.
Yeah. But that was one of 2 of these that were on the island. Did you guys see the other one on the island?
I did see the other one, yes.
Yeah, the other one had chrome wagon wheels, where this one had the original hubcaps on it. Yeah. So that was really cool. And they both, the light bars and the whole deal. And Gabe, when he left that night, he turned the lights on for me. I said, "Read the lights." He hit the lights and kind of sped off with the lights on, like
nice.
He was off to close the beaches. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah. And the other big one was Michael Sterling's boat.
Oh man.
His Orca replica. John, did you get a chance to get down and see that thing?
Yeah, so it was very odd. So when I arrived on the Friday, must have been I was staying in Edgartown, and I was staying in a hotel that was like a 2-minute walk from the Chappie Ferry. And And so I just went out on the Friday night, but basically I just went to a bunch of bars. But then on the Saturday morning, I kind of woke up. I woke up at like 5 a.m. and was immediately like, "Yep, this is me. I'm awake. There's no way I'm going back to sleep." And I was like, "There's so much to do, so much to see, so much going on the whole weekend. Just get up and go." So grabbed a shower, jumped on a bus up to Oak Bluffs, and I walked up to Nancy's restaurant, walked around the corner, and it was there. It was not even 6 a.m. yet. There was nobody outside.
Ooh.
And I was just sat on the bench opposite it, looking at it. Kind of, it was very odd. It was like a kind of out of body experience. I was just kind of like, yep, that's 100% the orca. This like it's a tiny bit smaller, but that's you're never gonna. I don't know how you get better than that. And there was a sign that said something along the lines of like, "Do not enter," like, "Do not touch," "Do not step on."
Yeah.
And I was sat there and I was like, I have never wanted to break the law. But I was like, I thought about it for a solid like 30 seconds, and I was like, no, because chances are you'll either you'll fall in and hit your head and you'll die. That'll be like worst case scenario. Or you'll get on and whoever owns it immediately finds you, then you get arrested and then you're deported and the weekend's just started. So I was like, I'm just gonna appreciate it from a distance. But yeah, I kind of sat and looked at it for a really long time and then realized I might have looked like either A, I owned it, or B, I looked crazy. But then very quickly, because I didn't really meet any, because I thought I was going to arrive on the Friday night and I'd walk out in the streets of Edgartown. It was like 9 p.m., like 9 o'clock at night. And I was like, it's bound to be obvious who's here for everything. Couldn't see a single person, no one in like a Jaws t-shirt, no one in a hat, no one, like nothing. And I was so confused. And I was like, oh no, wait, this is the wrong weekend. What's going on? And so then on the Saturday morning when I was sitting looking at the boat and I was thinking, yeah, maybe I look crazy, but surely at some point there'll be a couple, like people will start, maybe one person will come over and be like, hey, you're here for this. Within like 35, 40 minutes, there was like 50 to 100 people there, all in various Jaws t-shirts. And I was like, oh, good, I'm here. These are my people. I've made the right decision. Yeah, I couldn't get over it. Like I was staring at it and then even just looking at the tiniest details and remembering stuff from the film and going, oh, I wonder if that's the, yep, it's there. I wonder if, oh yeah, I can see, like, it was so amazing. And I think also is in the run up to it, there was so much information about that boat coming, but there was no photographs. There was no, or at least I didn't see any. Like it felt like, is it gonna happen? Is it, because like it felt a bit touch and go, but only because I wasn't seeing like visual evidence of it existing.
Sure.
And I was like, is it? And then also is just the thought process behind, like, in order to recreate that kind of boat and recreate it in the way that someone who's recreating it, they'll want to recreate it as accurately as possible. And everyone that wants to see it will want it to be as accurate as possible.
Correct. They're gonna look at it.
It's like, what if it's awful? What if it's terrible? What if it sinks? What if it, like, there's so many things, because you're just so excited and you wanted nothing who it, because I didn't know the guy's name. Well, I mean, I knew his name, but only because I'd read it on the Return of the Orca like website. I was just like, whoever this guy is, I hope he's safe, because if something goes wrong, fans are going to go mental.
Well, he had trouble from the get-go with that. So I know he literally finished it and drove it up from Florida, because he was telling me just the trip up was a nightmare. He got stuck in New York City at nighttime and not a good section. Luckily, someone came and kind of helped him out of there. He got there. They finally got up to the vineyard. Got on the ferry, came across, put it in the water, and lost his steering, and then I think lost reverse or something. He said he had little to no time. He paid money just to drop it in the water. I guess more or less to make sure it was going to be seaworthy as far as it was going to float and everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he worked to the last minute to finish it, and so it was kind of a rough start for him. But knowing the film that it was
I
representing,
was gonna say
not much of a surprise,
how serendipitous is that?
Oh my
and
gosh!
have you seen all those amazing footage of it?
Sailing out and around. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
And then is that his son that's with him?
Yes.
His son, and then
they
the
do
other
that
gentleman
brilliant
was Nick.
thing. Because they do that brilliant thing where he starts doing Quint like going
I would have loved to have seen it because the part where they're on the dock when they catch the tiger shark and Quint comes past that Edgartown lighthouse. I would have liked to have seen that live and in person. That would have given me chills.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We've got a couple other people chiming in. Mark Ames was down there and saw the boat. He was there. In fact, we got a great picture right at sunset.
That was a good picture of you guys.
Yeah. And we got Crystal Jones joining us. Hello from Canada. Sassenach, did you wrestle a shark to get your hat back?
No, I didn't. Listen, I'm good, Crystal. I didn't have to wrestle anything, but love you, dear.
John, you were shark struck. Yeah, without a doubt.
If he doesn't realize, yes, I'm. Crystal and I call each other Sassenach because of that whole Outlander kind of. So okay. He knows that. John would know that.
Nice.
Eventually, I'm going to come to Inverness. Okay.
Nice. I was lucky. Go ahead. No, go ahead, buddy.
Oh no, all I was going to say was that, like, so every now and again, actually, I kind of mostly went between Edgartown and Oak Bluffs, and so I was back up in Oak Bluffs like a couple of times, and just when I was like in between things, like I went on the tour with Jeffrey Voorhees, and then when we got dropped back off, I was, I'll go and have another look at the boat. And by this time, there was a band playing. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Oh, that was Harborfest. Yeah.
And I was like, and I went over and got like, so I took a video camera with me. So I was shooting like a little video and shooting some footage. And then the next thing I know, I turn around and there's Jeffrey Kramer.
Nice. Very
that
nice.
was like, I was just, it's the thing where you've never, like, because we don't really have a lot of, I mean, I guess maybe not so much because, well, he was there because, it's because of the weekend, what it was and stuff, but it's the thing where I never thought, like, the first time I ever watched Jaws, I was 5 years old. I turn 40 next month. I've watched Jaws once a month since I first watched it. So I've seen Jaws like 427 times or something, because I watched it twice last month because I'd already watched it and then we watched it live with the orchestra. So it's like I never thought I'd meet anyone from it. And just turning around, and even though I didn't meet him then, because I was just a little bit nervous, and then there was like a big queue, and I didn't want to just be like,
Why? I did. I looked at him and said, "Hey."
Oh yeah, no. It was just a thing where I was like, I turned around and I was like, it was Deputy Hendricks. Oh, and I just kind of stared, and he was doing it, but he was talking to someone. Thankfully, he didn't see me staring at him like a weirdo. But it was the fact that I then saw people getting on the boat, and then it was like I wasn't sure who was staff of events, who was part of the beer, like Crush It Like Quint thing that was going on. I wasn't sure who was going on the boat. But since I've come home, I just keep seeing loads of pictures and photos of random people on the boat, and I'm like, I should have asked to go on the boat. Because it was like, because then someone would say, I overheard someone saying, like, oh, there's no insurance, so it's like it's unsafe. Like if someone gets hurt, he's screwed. And I'm like, yeah, fair. And I was like, fair enough. And that's why I didn't ask. But then when I saw loads of people going on in these videos that I've seen since coming home, I was like, I should have just gone up to him and be like, I came from Scotland for this. Can I at least just stand on it for 5 minutes? But hey, you win some, you lose some. But it was incredible just seeing it. Like, he's such an amazing job. I don't know. And like no one paid him to do that, right? He just did it.
No, all him. It was all him.
Yeah.
I caught wind that it had come into town that the evening before, and I had got up that morning, going for a little jog, and went into town and stopped and grabbed a coffee. And I saw him down there and started talking to him. We were talking for a while, and I was standing there, and I have the orca tattoo down the back of from my calf down to my ankle. And he saw that, and he said, "Is that my butt on your leg?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Come on down." He said he wasn't letting anyone on because he didn't have insurance on the boat. But I think as time went on, he started to allow some people. So I didn't want to be pushy. I definitely was not going to bug him. He had just gotten in the night before. I mean, they were exhausted. But he said, "Yeah, come on in." And, he said, "Come on in the cabin and we'll sit and talk." And I don't know, we were there for probably about an hour total. And the other gentleman, Nick, who's from Edgartown, who literally just offered to go and help. So, such a great guy. I mean, spent pretty much the entire time down there. So it was wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, it was crazy. I wish I'd seen it sailing around, but I think that was initially the plan, wasn't it? That it would be at the Nancy's for a bit, and then in the afternoon it would do like circle the island, or at least go around a bit and then come back. But then I guess he just couldn't risk it.
Well, he like I said, he had mechanical issues, which ironically was really neat. Was Court, who works on boats for a living, who built the replica over that was sitting at the museum, which is what we're going to hit on next. He actually came over and helped him kind of get it up and running so they could take it out then. So I thought that was such a neat move of generosity there. And I think just speaks bounds to what a lot of the people that we encountered
That's the community. That's the community. That's the community that we're in.
Oh yeah, I was so impressed anyway, because I think when I first read about it, I thought it was just going to be a replica of the orca on the back of a trailer, just in a car park or something, like in a parking lot. I didn't think it would even be in the water. So just going up and coming around the corner and then seeing it in in the dock was like.
I think he's still in shock the way that he talks about it. I mean, that's a glorious.
Oh yeah, man, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Awesome. We got a couple other comments on here. We got, sorry about that. We got Tino saying, "Hello, guys."
Hey, Tino.
This is Val. Val's hanging out with us. Hey, Val. How are you, buddy?
Can I tell you a story about Valentino Capone?
Absolutely.
He's done for now. That's it.
I met Val, so I'm expecting you guys. Go ahead. He's a great guy.
So I'm standing. So as I said, I traveled by myself. I'm standing in the queue for the VIP tent at the orchestra screening of Jaws. And I can't remember how, but I got to talking to this guy, his wife and her sister, and chatting away. We get into the bar, and the guy. So we're talking away, and the guy's like, "Oh, come to the bar with us." So we go to the bar, and then he's like, "Hey, you got VIP tickets too? Like, we'll go get a seat together. Come and sit with us." And I'm like, "This is great." And so I was sitting there after a while. I was like, "Oh, we don't know each other's names." And I was like, "Sorry, what's your name?" And he's like, "Valentino." And I was like, "No, it's not. You're lying." Because in Scotland, nobody is called Valentino. Right?
No one's called that here either. We don't.
Yeah, okay, fair.
He's the only one I know.
So I'm sitting there going, no one's calling you Valentino. And then he goes, no, and you're never gonna believe my second name. And I was like, what's your second name? Soprano? What are you talking about? And then he was like, close. And he was like, "You're Valentino Capone." I was like, "You're absolutely 100% making it up." And he showed me his ID; it was accurate. Then I was like, "There's no way anyone's calling you Valentino. You must have other names, right? What do people call you?" And I swear, this is one of the best lines I've heard from an introduction to a person ever. He's like, "I get called a lot of things: Valentino, asshole." I was like,
he does a good impression.
I was like,
he does. You got him down.
I was like, this guy's my new best friend. And then obviously hanging out with his wife, Christy Capone, and her sister, Kathy, or the good lady Manhattan. It was mad. So we were sat pretty much like prime seats, bang, sort of near the front, near the middle. The only kind of, I think pretty much no matter where you sat, unless you were really far back, you were kind of, there was an obstruction with the orchestra or the conductor. So the only thing that was in the way was a little bit of the conductor was kind of covering the screen. But we've all seen the film. We were just there for the experience more so than, paying attention. It was amazing. I saw the Jaws with a live orchestra in the Albert Hall in London a few years ago, and they messed up the music cue when Ben Gardner's head comes out the boat.
Oh, you're kidding!
No,
like his head. So there's the sting, there's the, and then the head comes out. There was no sting. There was no sting. The head came out. There was a slight pause. Everyone kind of went, and then it comes out. There was no sting. There was no sting. The head came out. There was a slight pause. Everyone kind of went. We were talking when we were sitting with Val, and we're just talking away, and meeting them was amazing because we were chatting to each other and kind of instant friendship, like instant. It was mad. We spent the whole night together. They kindly gave me a lift home. There he is. Kindly gave me a lift back to my hotel. And then they were saying, "Oh, what are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to this thing at the museum." And they were like, "So are we." So we got to spend most of Sunday with them as well. And we've been in touch. That's how I found out about this. Was through Val.
Okay.
So that's it's great. So I'm going to have to at some point get myself to New Jersey and go and visit them.
Very cool.
But yeah, it was such a mad weekend, meeting so many people. Get myself to New Jersey because I think there's a lot of. I said this to.
Cool.
I met,
but yeah, it was such a mad.
I met Greg Nicotero
so many people
at the. I met Greg Nicotero at the orchestra. The screening, the outdoor screening. I met Greg Nicotero in the toilets. Kind of was standing there, and he walked in, and I turned around and was like, "I never thought I'd meet Greg Nicotero in a toilet in a hotel on Martha's Vineyard."
That's the best way to meet Greg.
While watching Jaws, but here we are, and he was like, "Here we are." I've forgotten what I was talking about. See, I'm getting too excited.
Well, you know what? Hold on to that for a second. I'm going to roll a quick clip out, and it'll come back to you pertaining to the live movie. All right, so hold on to that. We'll come right back to you. Here's a quick clip of what he's talking about. This was the live movie that was shown at the Winnetou with a live orchestra. So here's a quick clip for you guys. Hold on, let me remove that. Bring that back in. Did not kick it off.
Reel it
There we go. There we go. Yeah, they were on there too.
Oh yeah, they were amazing.
They really were. That was a serious stage there. It was like wasn't like some inflatable stage during COVID to watch a movie from your car. I mean, that was pretty incredible stuff.
They didn't mess around. They did not.
No, they really didn't. And John, it's funny that you said you met Greg Nicotero in the bathroom. I was standing in line for the bathroom, and I met Guy Masterson. He was right behind me. I had my Shark is Broken sweatshirt on because I saw it in New York City, and I feel this hand up, and he says, "That's a nice sweatshirt you have on there." I said, "Right, it's Guy Masterson." That's funny. Apparently, the bathroom line was a place to meet people.
Yeah, because during the intermission, Val was saying, "Hey, that's Guy Masterson over there." And so I went over and politely interrupted his conversation with his two pals. But it basically, because I went to one of the very first performances of The Shark is Broken in Edinburgh in 2019.
Oh wow!
And it was the shorter version because at the basically if you don't know what the Edinburgh Fringe is, it is an arts festival that lasts the entire month of August. It's been going for something that I can't remember. I think it's been going for like 70, 80, 90 years, something like that. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's basically just like stand-up comedy, theatre, music, arts, dance for a whole month. The entire city of Edinburgh becomes a massive party. It's the biggest arts festival on planet Earth. And it's amazing, but that's where they debuted The Shark is Broken. And so I saw it with the very first like original cast and met Ian Shaw after.
Yeah, they said that's when they did it was in Scotland.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. Like it was so cool. The set was amazing. Like it was so accurate and so crazy to see it, especially in a kind of theater setting. And then everyone was just so good because no one's doing an impression. They're getting the kind of the cadence across, they're getting the personality across. But then also because they do, obviously there's scenes from Jaws in it, but then when it stops and it's just them playing the actors again, there's no one's doing an impression. They've got the right kind of the right tone. So it was really odd and very again just kind of an outer body experience because you're going, it's Roy Scheider, it's Richard Dreyfuss, and it's Robert Shaw, but it's not. They're very good, and Ian Shaw was incredible. And afterwards they said, we'll be in the bar if anyone wants to say hello. And then there was like a John-shaped dust cloud next to my wife and my pals and my mum and dad, and I was in the bar, and he was standing there talking to someone, and I went up to him. And the show, because I didn't realize that the show felt very much like it's like about, even though it's not entirely about like fathers and sons, there was this thing because you knew that Ian had a hand in writing it, and obviously Ian's playing his own dad. There was this it was a very emotional experience. So I meet him in the bar and I walk up to him and I'm standing in front of him. He's talking to someone. I wait for them to finish. The person he's talking to walks away. He kind of turns to me like, yeah. And I burst into tears. And I didn't know what to do. And then I couldn't speak. And I was just like, and then after a while, he was kind of looking at me like, uh-oh, this guy's crazy. But then very quickly, I saw like something just kind of switch, and he looked me dead in the eye and he just went, I know. And then gave me a big hug. We had a nice chat.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was lovely. And he was so generous with his time, and he was very like, he was super nice. He was super nice. But then at the orchestra screening, Valid said, there's Guy Masterson. I went over and spoke to him, and it basically said, you know, I saw it in its original run in Edinburgh and it was amazing and blah 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 blah. I was like, I hear Ian's not doing it anymore. If I could throw my hat in the ring to play Robert Shaw in a future production. And he was like that. Okay, well, if you're serious, give me a shout. And I was like, I will. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe. There was it was very odd seeing, like, we were sat like I think the what's the actor's name again? Jesus Christ, Finn Sharks. 350.
Oh, Greg Cole. Greg Cole.
So he's sitting in the row in front of us, and when that happened, he shot up and did his line live. Nice. He's just like, he jumped out of his chair and everyone went crazy. It was fun. But yeah, it was weird seeing, like, I mean, that's the first time that I ever saw Richard Dreyfuss in the flesh, and that was crazy. And then I met him on the Sunday at the Wharf pub. But yeah, I was so surprised he was there. That was incredible.
That's kind of how the way that I felt when I first met Susan Backlany at Jaws Fest 12.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it was just like, oh my gosh, it's Chrissy. And then when I got to talk to her, she was very, very sweet. And then I come to find out that her name is the same as mine. Her middle name is Jane. And there was a very good connection with that. So, and every time I saw her, it was very, very, very sweet to have that reaction.
Well, there you go. We have the exact same initials, because I got confused when it came on because I couldn't see your face yet. I just saw your name, and I was like, I wrote John Campbell. I didn't write John James Campbell. I didn't write JJC. Why am I here? Yeah.
It's me. It's me. It's me.
I ended up running into Guy just about every day after I ran into him at the bathroom. We would just randomly see people, and it was whatever Sunday night or whatever. They show the Jaws movie every night or every Sunday in Edgartown, and a bunch of us went. David Wharton, Mark Ames, a bunch of people went. Jamie, his wife, a whole lot of us went and just had a blast. I think Todd was with us, and we're outside waiting to go inside, and we knew that Guy was staying not too far from the movie theater. Told me he was right in Edgartown. And we're sitting there waiting to go in, and out of the blue, he comes out. He just like appears out of nowhere. Here he was staying right upstairs of the movie theater, and he was like the shadow. It was like he wasn't there. All of a sudden, he's like, "Hey, I recognize that voice," And here, he had the cast and crew, and they were filming their promo. One of the promos for The Shark Is Broken. I have about a 7-second clipper I'll pull up. They showed him going in and getting ready and setting up and then sitting in the theater and all in character. It was hilarious. I mean, this is just a real quick one here. We're kind of lining up and getting ready, and guys all ready to go. But yeah,
what a dog, man!
What a great guy he is.
He was so generous with his time as well, and so friendly and very down to earth. Like, he was super nice to chat to, and that whole outdoor screening thing was absolutely nuts. I looked back at one point and couldn't see the end of the crowd. There must have been at least like 1,000 people there or something.
They said there was over 1,000. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, who is this guy?
Hey, we've got our other guy, Paul. Paul's joining us tonight as well.
What's he doing?
Hey, I thought this was Let's Talk Transformers. What the hell's going on?
What? You best be
going out the door. When they have a 50th anniversary Transformers, you let me know. I'm not into it, but I'll show up just for the hell of it. How's that sound? Hey, we got a couple other people hopping on there. Sterling is on. Mike Sterling is on, just verifying, saying, yes, Corey, help me fix the transmission in the boat. And someone was asking some question. Victor was asking a question if there was if the shark anti-shark cage was on the back of the Orca, and that was not there.
No.
No. He had the fighting chair, and he had the rod.
Yeah.
He had the crow's nest. I mean, you name it. The rest of it was there.
There was a tank too. Wasn't there a scuba tank there as well? Or no?
Let's just pretend the cage was in the water.
The cage was in the water.
Right.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
Because where does the chair go? Nobody knows.
That's
right. This is true. Yeah. Well, let's move on to
the Orca itself.
Yes, we are.
Okay. The one that was on the water.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. We covered courts last week. We thought we'd handle that one. Hold on, let me.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Very nice.
Good picture. Yeah.
Very nice.
I took that from Nancy's.
Oh, God.
We had lunch and got a good view of it over there on the side.
I missed my fries at Nancy's, man. I didn't get to go.
Good.
Oh, that was one thing that was really bizarre. I realized on the Sunday I hadn't really eaten anything since arriving on the island. I was that excited and that busy that I forgot to eat.
We had Mike and I had a very dear friend named Lou Pisano, God rest his soul, and he would film all these things, and then I got a text message, or I got a Facebook message because I'm in the hospital. I'm actually at the hospital on the island. Why? I'm dehydrated. I didn't eat. I didn't drink. And I'm a nurse. And I said, if I see you do that at Jaws Fest, I'm putting in an IV in you. So don't do that ever again when you go back. Eat. I'm off duty when I go to the island, man.
So, so I want to talk about some of the exhibits at the museum. I mean, we were all at the reunion, but um, I took pictures of everything inside the museum. I probably looked like I was casing the joint, but I did want to hit on a little bit because I've got to say they did a absolutely amazing job. The upstairs was just incredible. I mean, it really was.
The ladies at the museum asked me, and they said, Janie, do you want to do some tours? Because I was thinking people could hear me different things that we knew about, and it was just so amazing. So amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Nate.
What was shocking to me was
wait,
even if you didn't go upstairs.
Is it time for you to go, Mike?
Yeah, I hate to interrupt.
Okay.
Have a great rest of the show. If anybody's going to be in Tampa this weekend, come on down to SharkCon. Going to be some surprises. That's all I can say.
Yep. I wish I was there this time too. So, yeah.
All right, Mike. Hey, Mike. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Mike's actually down in Florida right now. SharkCon this weekend. He'll be there all weekend. So, yeah, good plug for Mike and for SharkCon. A lot of different people down there this year. So it should be fun. Very cool.
Full report when we see you next.
You know it.
All right.
And go and buy his book on Amazon.com.
Yeah.
50 Years of Jaws Fanatics. And I did a great interview with him yesterday on YouTube. Paulie Flick's channel. Everybody check it out.
Oh, cool.
Very good. Very good.
Well, have fun.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mike.
So, Paul and John, what really stood out for you in the museum? You had to pick something.
Oh.
Go ahead, John.
Well, it was all very interesting. It was a lot of information that I already knew, that I'm sure a lot of people knew. But really, because I never got to go on the orca that was at Oak Bluffs, I then found out through Val. Val had said that there was the replica, and he showed me a picture of him sitting in it. I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! I have to go and see that." And so I went round to the kind of barn area at the back where the replica was. And I walked in, and there was no one there, and there's a rope in front of the door, and it says "Do not enter." And I was like, "Oh shit!" It was like there must have been like kids or something have like ruined this for everyone. My go-to thing is blame children. So I was like, oh, that's a shame. And then all of a sudden there was this woman's voice behind me, like an angel from nowhere. And she was just like, hey, do you want to go in? And it was a woman that worked at the museum. And I was like, yes, like, please.
I wonder who that was, Nate.
Moved all the rope and stuff. And I just went and I sat in there. I sat in there for like 5. I sat where Quint sits when he does the Indianapolis speech. And I sat there and just, I couldn't. It's such a weird thing, and that's the thing. It's nice being somewhere like this where I don't actually have to explain because I know you guys all get it. Yeah. But like coming home and trying to explain to like friends is like, and then I sat on the replica of the orca inside a shed, and I wanted to cry. They don't understand. Yeah, a friend of mine actually told me yesterday that he lost a bet because everyone made a bet that I would cry every single day I was in Martha's Vineyard, and I didn't cry once. Just because I think I was so overwhelmed that my emotions were just checked out. I was fine. But the orca, I think the orca replica for me was the standout purely just for that kind of. It was lovely seeing the boat at Oak Bluffs, and it was amazing seeing all the locations and stuff. But that one felt like, oh, I'm living inside a frame of a film that I watched since I was 5 years old. Yeah, and I never ever thought I would sit on the orca. And even though it wasn't really the orca, it was enough, and that was really. genuinely, it was just special. It was just a lovely moment to have. And then also it was like, wow, it's so much smaller than I. It feels quite big in the film.
I'm sorry, go ahead, but I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry.
On you go.
Between Mike with the Orca boat and Court with the cabin, I mean, you were physically on the set. I mean, you were there, and where else are you going to have that chance with anything? So it is. I totally get it. I felt the exact same way, whether I was on the boat or, Court called me and said, "Hey, come on over, and come on in and get a picture with me." And it just, you just sit in there and it's such a surreal moment. You're going,
my first spot, I went right straight to where Hooper sits because that's my go-to character because I'm a Hooper girl, and I wanted to sit the spot where he is, and then to look in the same spot where he was when before the Indianapolis speech. They're sitting there, they're eating, they're talking there, and seeing what they would have saw.
Yeah, that was the bit that was really.
That was the bit from their point of view.
Yeah, it was you're seeing what they
surreal.
saw.
Oh, look at the show off over here. Look at him.
Hold on, you know what? I can pull each up. There we go. Very nice.
Oh wow, there you go.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Clear it up.
Love it, guys. Paul, what about you?
Core was very cool. Yeah, I did the Q&A he did at the museum. I did every single one.
Okay.
And he gave us access because we did the Q&A with them. Everybody who did the Q&A was allowed to go inside and take the photo with him. So let's see if I can. That's me with him, but I
was going to say, you know what? If you guys have a picture you want to show, I can actually pull you in. Hold on a second.
Okay. Oh,
hold that up. Sorry, I didn't think about that a minute ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I'm trying to.
If you touch
it, because it's too
what am I doing wrong? What do I touch?
It's a little washed out. Drop your brightness on your screen.
Right, the brightness on your screen.
Now I lost everybody. Hold on.
You're still here. We can still see you if you turn down the brightness on your computer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Or on your phone.
101. Where do I do that? Idiot 101.
What we're talking here is Windows or a Macintosh? What are we doing?
Regular. Unleaded. It's unleaded.
You're good. We got the gist of it.
Are you working with a PC or a Mac? Regular.
So go to your phone. Is it an Apple phone?
No, it's an Apple phone. On my phone itself, do the brightness.
Yes.
Yeah. So go to the corner of the screen and swipe down, and then drop the brightness.
Look, I'm Italian. Ashpat, they say. Ashpat. Hold on.
Scored. The ejectors are scored from the seawater. You can hear it.
Oh my. There you go. Yes,
there you go.
Now,
there it is. All right. Very nice.
Right.
Perfect.
Let's talk Jaws live.
More on 101. Hold on.
iPhone tutorials.
Let's see what we get.
It took the nurse to do it. Oh my god.
Okay, that one's coming out good.
Yeah.
That's
you
good.
And your wife. Oh, and you got the coffee mugs. Very nice.
Yeah, he had the mugs on there too. It's very cool.
Oh, I tell you what. Here's something that happened at the museum. Basically, it's so annoying. I wish I could remember everything. I'm sure I could go online and find someone probably recorded the whole thing. I went to the Greg Nicotero Q&A sort of talk.
Mm-hmm.
And he had... it's the first time that I've heard information about Jaws that I had no idea about. Because I went on Jeffrey's tour, and he's great. He's such a fun guy.
Mm-hmm. Jeff is a very nice guy.
But I knew all the information, but I wasn't really going for the information. I was going for the experience. Yeah. So that's fine. And then a bunch of talks, a bunch of things, and it's not new information. It's really fun and really entertaining, and it's a good time. And I'm just happy I'm on the island. But Greg Nicotero, and tell me if you know this. I did not know this. All the shots at the end of the film when Brody is shooting at Bruce all the shots that take place above the water, they shot on Martha's Vineyard. All the shots that take place under the water were shot in the tank in California.
Yes.
And every time a bullet ripples past, that's a guy on a platform above the tank with a slingshot and a marble. And I had that's the first time I've ever heard that story. And I've seen and read everything, and that must have just passed me by. I have skipped that somehow in every documented record of it. I have completely missed that information. And he had a bunch of other things that he said. That one really stuck out, but he had a bunch of other things. And then when I talked to Greg Nicotero on the Sunday night at the wharf, there's the man.
There he is.
I love him. He's so good. I missed him this time.
There he is
so
doing
sweet.
his Q&A.
Oh yeah, because he was such a sweetheart. He was such a sweet guy, because he said when I was talking to him at the wharf, because I'd met him in the toilets at the orchestra. I met him.
Well, you know, yeah, that's
the museum.
Freedom.
And then I met him at the wharf, and then I met him the following morning on the street, and then I met him at the airport when I was leaving.
It's called stalking.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was walking past him.
That's not coincidence. That's stalking.
Oh, I know.
Coincidence for you, stalking for him.
In Scotland, we call it selective walking. But I was walking past him. I was walking past him on the Monday morning, and I was just kind of like,
"Oh shit, there's that guy again."
And he went, "Oh, hey, how you doing again?" And I was like, yeah. And I was like, don't keep speaking to him. Let him live his life. He's clearly just going for like a morning stroll. And then, then at the airport, I just went, we have to stop doing this. And he was like, I can't escape you. But he had so much information. And then at the wharf, he was such a sweet guy, because he said, did you like the talk? Like, I get nervous that everyone knows all this stuff anyway. And I was like, oh, I knew a bunch of it because of the video you guys put online. And I'm pretty sure the video is on the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray as well about the restoration of the shark. But I was like, there was so much information that I did not know. And everyone, that was the thing. It was like, everyone thinks they're the biggest Jaws fan. Then you go to Martha's Vineyard on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of June 2025, and you find out very quickly, A, no, you're not, and B, either are they, it's that, no, it's there, it's her, no, it's him. Everyone knows varying levels of information and history and encyclopedic knowledge, blah, 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 blah. But that's the first time in years that anyone had given me a whole bunch of information about the film that I didn't know. And I found it fascinating that it came from someone that didn't even work on the film.
Kind of like us, Nate.
You know what though? Those are the things that you cling to, because we've all seen the same things. We've all, anything that passed across, and was deemed licensed, we've all seen it a million times. So we're constantly striving for new information. So when you hear about stuff like that, it blows your mind. I mean, I go back to being 8 years old, which for me is an hour ago, and different people tell you these little stories. We heard a story from Christine Friedman. I think it was Christine Friedman. Someone told us that originally there was going to be 2 water skiers that were going to be attacked. And the shark came in and got mad and hit the one boat. It was like a deleted scene and everything. It's like, you're just like, what? What? And to them, it's really nothing, because it never became anything. But to us, we're just, you feast on that. And that's what keeps that hunger going, some of the time. So it's pretty amazing.
I remember being a kid, and for the first time, and it was before I saw the actual footage, but I remember as a kid seeing the guy in the pond holding Michael while being in the shark's mouth.
Ted Grossman,
and I think I must have been about 6 or 7 when I saw that photo, and I remember being like, oh no, that's horrifying.
Yeah, you know what? I was at work this weekend. Actually, I had a sales rep come in, and she says, "Is it true that they cut this kind of part out?" And I had to bring up the video. I went, "Oh yeah, it's true."
And it's the thing is, I think the photograph is a lot scarier. That the footage, I'm glad it's not in it. It doesn't look right.
Well, it's like Spielberg said. He said it was just too violent. He didn't think it, that it was going to work.
It's funny because I think it's probably it's a haunting photograph. It's like a haunting still image, but in terms of like it's the most violent thing in the film. I'm like,
I think that's less violent than the actual leg.
Yeah,
I think the leg is more of an effect than actually him holding the kid and the blood coming out of his
even the bits of Quint on the teeth
right, and you have a blood spurt from Quint anyway. So how can you?
Or even Jeff's scene with the blood spurting out.
Well, that's what Tarantino said that about Kill Bill, because if you saw Kill Bill, the first one, they did the Yakuza scene where she's killing all these people, and they shot it to black and white.
Yeah.
And they made it black and white because the visual of all the blood spurt and everything, he said he would have got a non-rating or an X.
Yeah.
But in Japan, I have the Japanese version, full color.
Full color, yeah.
And they no problem for them.
Gotta love the American Motion Picture Association.
We're very sensitive.
There it is.
Well, no, it was the same. It was the same over here because I remember I think Kill Bill was 2003, so I'd be 17 or 18 when that came out, and I remember sitting in the cinema, and the whole thing was like all the trailers, all the marketing material was all leading to that big fight, and the minute she pokes that person's eye out and it cuts to black and white, you could hear like 15 people in the audience dotted throughout the room just going, "What? Why?"
So now, John, you were in the for the Q&A for Nicotero.
Yeah.
I asked a couple of questions. I wikied them, and Nicotero worked on Predator.
Yeah.
And he worked on Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
So
I remember your question.
I'm the guy.
No, you're not going down the Mark Wahlberg lane, are you?
Yes, I is.
Oh my God.
Because I said, true or not true, did you work on the prosthetic that Mark Wahlberg worked on? And he laughed, he goes, "Do you want me to tell this story?" And everyone went, yes. and he tells the story. He says, there's the scene. He's there. We got the prosthetic between Mark Wahlberg's legs, and Heather Graham's just sitting there, like looking like it was any other day. He goes, but
why did we go off the rails?
He goes, but what the funny part about here? But here's the funny part. He goes, I left that underneath my seat for a couple of weeks. He goes, and I forgot about it. And he goes, God, if I got pulled over by a cop, and he goes, "You have any deadly weapons? What do I say to that?"
Yeah, you ever see a foot with one toe? That's what you say. Like, what else you gonna say?
Yeah, it'd be like, "Oh, I've got like a couple of zombie heads in the back. I've got."
I would go, "Officer, have you ever heard the word?"
And then I've got this big Dirk Diggler.
I tell you, Nicotero was a lot of fun. It was like shooting the shit with him.
Yeah,
he's so down to earth, man. He's so nice. So anyway, I know that he was making casts of the shark tooth. So when everything's all said and done, I walk up to him. I go, "Did you bring any teeth with you?" He goes, "Oh, I gave a bunch to Dreyfus and I gave a bunch to Kramer." I go, "I need a tooth. I need a tooth." He goes, "All right." He goes, "What else are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to come to the Wolf Pub." He goes, "All right, I'll remember." And it happened to be that he was. I was at the Edgar Hotel, and they were staying at the Edgar Hotel too. So I get into the Wolf. He's the first guy walk. I go. "Do you have it?"
Oh, nice.
So there.
I was just gonna ask you if you. I was like, you better have that tooth. I was gonna say,
and it's got really nice ridges on it too. And it's bigger than and it definitely is
just like Dirk Diggler's.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, sorry, boys. Sorry, boys.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you produced.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I got nothing. I got another 10 to 10. That's all I bought.
But this is from the mold as well. But I didn't get it from Greg. I got it from somebody else. But Dreyfus signed it for me.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So this is $100, that bastard.
Oh no, no.
As we're saying, so that whole weekend itself now, the way they worked it out is that you couldn't go upstairs. You had to buy a ticket for upstairs. So whatever was going on with the Q&As wasn't part of upstairs. They were charging also to go upstairs. So I had to go to the bathroom. As I go into it, they said, "Oh, it's in the back to the left." This really blew me away.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, because it was just right there,
Yeah.
and the shark
Right out
Hill
in the
was
open.
so good.
Yeah,
And the
I think I may
background
have
was
said a couple
Walker.
words because I walked up there to go use the ladies' room before our show so I can freshen up because I just got into town, and he was right there at the corner, and I may have said a couple of words that I probably shouldn't have in public, but yeah, that was pretty realistic when you walk around the corner and see him there.
It was a great surprise if no one said it to you. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? It's right there.
I know.
Yeah.
I completely missed it. I only saw it in photographs when I got home.
Oh, you're kidding! You had to go out to the big room where the lens was from the lighthouse. It was
the lighthouse.
I mean, it was
light.
Oh, so you never went towards the back of the museum?
No.
Oh man,
I did, but I must have just missed it. I must
How
have.
Can you miss this friggin' thing? Oh my
what
god!
I'm talking about. I have no idea.
Wow.
It was kind of upsetting, but at the same time, it was like, at least I saw the orca boat. At least I saw the replica of the cabin.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it was what I would like to say. Just I thought I've been planning this trip for like 5 years, but I was only going to come if something was happening. And
yeah,
I wasn't really part of any Facebook groups. I was in one group, and then that turned out that was Michael Fulcher's group, and nothing was happening. That kept saying that there was things were going to happen, and then after a while I was like, you know what, I'm never going to be able to afford it. I'm never going to be able to get time off work. I'm never going to be able to go, because like I turned 40 this year. Jaws turns 50. I was like, for my 40th birthday, blah 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 blah.
No one cares how old you are.
Yeah,
no, exactly. No.
Yeah,
we do.
It was the thing where I was like, I want to go when it's meaningful for me and for the film.
That is the best birthday gift you could have done for yourself.
And I gave up like the tail end of last year. I was like, I'm not gonna go. We'll go at some point in the future, just on holiday at some time. And then things started getting announced, and I was like, and I don't have many regrets, but I do have a lot of I wish I'd done that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I cannot sit here and not book a flight immediately. I have to go. And I went with great expectations, and every expectation was smashed to pieces. It was incredible. Like I came home and I said to my wife, and I was like, look, our wedding was great. This was the best weekend of my life. And luckily she understands.
So does she miss you?
And how long are you divorced now?
Yeah, right.
And when do you see the kids?
It's been 3 weeks. No, she was like, well, she said before I left, because she was going to, we call them a hen party. She was going to a bachelorette party down in London the same weekend. And so she was going there. I was coming over to Martha's Vineyard, and she said when she was leaving, she was like, "You're gonna come back, right?" I was like, "Can't guarantee it." I think if Valentino, if the Capones, if they lived on Martha's Vineyard, I might still be in their house. I would have.
That's kind of how we feel. That's kind of how we feel with Donna.
Yeah, I couldn't. But also, is the thing I appreciated so much was that I'd read over the years. I was like, if you go to Martha's Vineyard, don't bring up Jaws. They're all sick and tired of it. They all don't care anymore. Like they're over it. Like, fair enough. And I was like, well, I get that. We in Edinburgh, we are sick and tired of people running down Princess Street pretending they're in Trainspotting. So I get it. But it's the thing where I got there, and that was the complete opposite experience I had. Everybody that was an Islander seemed very, very happy we were all there. Yep. Everyone was so friendly. Shout out to all the staff, Hannah, Carly, and all the staff at the Atlantic in Edgartown. They were the nicest people that looked after me every night. I went in there every night, just got friendly with the bar staff, and they were super accommodating and very like, they were like, you came to Scotland for the, you came from Scotland for the, okay, you're crazy. And I was like, yep. But everyone I met on Martha's Vineyard was an absolute gem. They were great. They were so welcoming, so happy, so friendly. It was amazing. And every single event was incredible. Every single thing went off without a hitch. Shaking Richard Dreyfuss's hand, getting a hug from Jeffrey Kramer, like it was mad. It was absolutely mad, and I could not believe it was happening. I came home, and I know I was saying like I came home and then immediately went to Glastonbury, but those like few hours in between coming home and leaving again, it was like it was all a dream. Like it was so strange. It was like it never happened. But it's not ready yet, but maybe the tail end of the month or maybe next month, I shot a whole bunch of stuff out there, and I'm making like a little short, like 10-minute documentary thing with like a bit of a voiceover about what Jaws means to me and what Jaws meant to everyone that was at the weekend. And
I don't think
I'll share it. I'll share it in the when it's finished.
Oh,
yeah, please.
Oh yeah.
I don't. There's the
There's
man
boy.
himself. There he is.
There is, yeah.
There he
Yeah,
is.
share
That
it
was,
across the pages. We'd love
Jaws
to see
in
it.
concert.
Yeah, I mean,
And I snatched Jeffrey too.
there's Jeff.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, that was
Just a
now.
doll.
Hey, you were at that, right? You came to the Jaws.
Yes.
Did you go, John, too?
Yeah.
And Jamie, you go, right, hon?
I wasn't able to go. No.
Okay. Yeah. So I did the $500 version.
Yeah.
Of it.
Same.
And
did you really?
did you do the 500, John?
Yeah.
Okay. So how'd you feel? Was it worth the 500? Let me ask you that.
Well, put it this way: I don't like sitting on the floor, so I would have paid $1,000
For a chair.
Well, you know what the funny thing about it was, the right side, if you're facing the screen, the right side said VIP, right?
Yeah.
But I sat in the last row in the middle that said nothing. So that seemed, in my eyes, that it was fair game.
All the chairs were
supposed to be VIP.
Were all VIP.
Okay.
And
how'd you feel the food and the drink and so forth and the interaction?
I had some, like a tiny bit of chowder, and I put it down and then forgot to pick. I'd forgot to eat the entire like first 2 days I was on the island.
Oh wow! I cannot say that.
I made up for
three lobster rolls in. I cannot say that.
Oh, I made up for it on the Sunday. Don't worry. But
look what your buddy Val just said.
Val said completely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely can't complain, because if I hadn't paid $500 for a ticket, I would not have met Valentino Capone. So,
Ooh, smooth in. Look at him there.
You know, it's funny. So let me ask you this too, John. Did you get to see the Sharkins Broken at Ed Fringe when they did
yes.
it?
Yeah.
Now you're the originator. You saw it as an infant.
Yeah.
How it was. And you saw Duncan Henderson do Scheider.
Oh yeah,
everyone. The guy who did all the set design for him.
Yeah, they were great. They were great.
So you're very fortunate. So it was, and you saw a 60-minute version of it also.
And that's the sad thing. I've never seen the full version.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you on my my Facebook page, the Shark is Broken fan page?
Yes, I am.
That's a shameless Nate. That's called a shameless plug. Thank you.
We know all about
I picked up on that. I was doing a lot of that on the island. Trust me.
So here we go. So the same thing. So now I'm sitting next to a couple. We're standing next to a couple, and we're by that clam mobile. Mobile. So we're standing there, and Greg Dole, of course, is walking around with his friggin' "Hi, this is what I did in the scene." He's walking around with his 8x10. I felt bad for the guy. He was a nice guy, and I go to this couple. I go, "Oh, did you go to Broadway and see The Shark is Broken?" And this lady comes over. She goes, "Are you talking about the play?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, this is Ian's sister." I'm like, what?
I knew she was in town. Yeah.
And
No.
and we started talking, and I said, oh, about the website, and I saw the performance on Broadway 10 times. I saw it, So yeah, I'm a nut. So as that's happening, and guess who starts stroll by? Guy Masterson.
Yep.
Guy was like, "Where's Waldo?" you just
every day I ran into him.
Around, you saw a guy with glasses and a red beanie. It was
He
unbelievable.
would just appear out of the blue. Like I would be somewhere and it was just like he was not there. It was like all of a sudden he was there, and what an awesome dude. Yeah.
So here's my encounter. I knew I was going to have a great week. I'm in the taxi cab, and I was staying at the Edgar Hotel. And as I'm crossing by, I see a guy with long hair. I go, "Hey, that looks like Greg Nicotero."
His long hair.
What the hell's going on here? And I pull in, and we get our bags, and we're at the desk, and there's a door right in front of us, and it opens up the door. Here comes Joe Alves walking out. I said, "Oh, this is gonna be a pretty good friggin' week."
Yeah.
Right? So we talk, and Dennis, of course, was with them, and I said, "Oh, I did part of the I was part of the Kickstarter for Joe's book, and I did the high upper echelon one. I got one of the original chalkboard drawings that was part of the the funding for it, and I said, and this book is a murder weapon. It weighs like 700 friggin' pounds."
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I had one suitcase that, thank God, I wasn't putting that underneath the plane. It would have cost me $300 of all the crap.
There was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to get, but I couldn't because there was no way it was going to fit in my bag.
Right, and thank God that was my overhead. So I fit. I even have here. This I brought.
Cool.
So this is.
I want one of those so bad.
I have a clapboard that you can actually use. A lot of people using the sign for, but this one itself, I said, this is the one I'm going to get signed. Yeah, so I got Joe on there. There's Dreyfus. There's the $100. That's where the $100 went. Marty is right here. Jeff. I got the Seal brothers on here. Greg, and the last day I got the Kittner boy.
Yeah.
And they filled it. They filled it out nicely for me.
All respect to Marty Milner. That guy was everywhere all weekend.
Awesome guy.
Was busy.
He's a sweetheart, but the same thing. I met him at the Wharf Club, and I start talking, and Marty goes right into how he made the boat, how he fixed the show. He goes right into I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was in a trade school. I thought I was going to be able to build Bruce by the time I finished talking to him.
He told us how to do the cabanas on the show.
Unreal.
Oh, everything, yeah.
So he was selling
the cabanas and the gazebo and everything.
On his thing, he was selling these postcards, right?
Yeah, I got his business card.
That's his art too, yeah.
That's his artwork, yeah.
Yeah, he does those, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is what he had at the table. Yeah. So I bought 3. I didn't want to buy the set because he was asking like $25, right? So I bought 3, and he looks at me because I was talking to him, this and that, and he goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I'm going to give you a full pack." He goes, "And there's one inside," he goes, "that has something special on the back of it." So on this one here, it says, "I certify this piece of balsa wood from the lot used to make the original breakaway stern transom and cabin wall of Jaws."
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Great guy.
Marty is a wonderful dude.
There was a woman.
Yes, he's a sweetie.
There was a woman there that had all these photographs, black and whites, and her mom was there the entire time for the location stuff, and took all these photos and never published any of them. And Nate saw a couple of them, and they're unbelievable. I said, "Are these for sale?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "I don't know what I'm doing." I said, "Well, thank you, because I would have been poor right now, and it's only friggin' Sunday, and I got to live till Saturday. I got to be here till Saturday. So thank you for not allowing us." But she allowed me to take a photo every single one. Let me see if I can find
the brightness setting.
No. You're funny. Here.
You're a funny guy.
I like you, John. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Wow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Holy
Speaking
shit.
of Marty Milner, he put a post up last week that I absolutely loved. It was number one hysterical, number two, it was so cool.
Was this
And it
the
was
side by
the
side?
picture of him fixing the shark in
Oh, yeah.
1974.
I mean, look
And
at
then
the
it,
rock on.
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
side by
thing.
side.
So
That's
now, wait.
interesting.
So now, I went to Joe Al's Q&A, and they were talking about the orca with Quint standing up over the orca. Wait, this is the coolest one too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yep. At the beach. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So he was saying someone said, what happened to that scene? Because you see him, there's the blood's on the killer whale, and for the life of him, he couldn't remember what we were talking about. But this lady here, for some reason, let me see if I can find it now.
Oh, the whale.
Well,
That was a pilot whale. That was
Yeah.
a pilot whale.
Pilot,
And
yeah.
Marty made that whale and told me a story about driving it up in the back of his old pickup truck to the scene, the Quinn Shack. Yeah. Very cool.
That's crazy.
Val says that she's in the documentary.
Yeah, Carol Footner.
No,
Carol!
not her. That's
No?
not her.
Okay.
I'll tell you the name right now.
Carol's a sweetie. I met Carol for the first time on my wedding day.
Here we go.
All right.
Let's see if we can get well, if I can't get too close. Her name is Pat Van. That's her name, and her daughter was Kim Baker, daughter of Pat Van. That's the one that it says behind the scenes photos George never seen before. So she took a lot of our names. So I don't know if she's either going to sell them individually or create a book, or probably maybe do a Kickstarter or something like that for those public.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
she should definitely make a book.
Especially now. I mean, this is the time to strike.
Yeah.
You know, she'd be
Oh, yeah.
making a killing right now. So can I give you my Richard Dreyfuss story?
Well, I need to go to sleep.
Yeah.
All right, so
Go ahead.
let this be the last one.
Yeah, because I
So-
get up early at 5 in the morning.
So I'm at the Wars pub, and I know that he's charging $100 for a picture and $100 for an autograph, and I said, all right, I'm gonna get the clapboard done. So I go to my wife Debbie. I said, take the camera and just keep shooting. Just shoot me talking to him, just whatever. So I walk up to him, I take out $250s, and I throw it at him. I go, you're charging a New Yorker $100 friggin' dollars for your autograph? And he looks at me, he starts laughing, and we start talking about New York. Oh, where you from? Oh, I'm from Bayside, Queens, and this and that, and da-da-da. And he's laughing, he's shaking my hand. So at the end, I go, Rich, I said, do me a favor. I said, I don't want a photo with you. I go, just, can you take a picture of you holding just a clapboard? And I get the Dreyfuss laugh, and he goes, fuck you. And I go and I grab his cheek like this and pinch it hard. I go, only a New Yorker can say that to another New Yorker. And I walked away. So if that's the last thing I ever get to say to Richard Dreyfuss, I'll take it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He asked me when I first met him. He asked me. He said, "So I told him I wanted to be a marine biologist." He said, "So if you tell me if I eat that," it was at SharkCon where Mike is at, and he said, "So if I eat that sushi," and I even told him, I said, "If you eat that and you get sick with your ass right now, and I've waited 40-something years to meet you, I will never forgive you ever again." And he did the same thing. Did the Dreyfuss laugh and all that. And he looked at his assistant and goes, "I like her."
Nice.
Oh yeah, Val.
Val made it out. Val got the deal of the century.
Oh, big time.
He did.
And picture to prove it. Awesome.
He did.
Awesome.
He did.
Well, hey guys, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. I'd love to keep it rolling, but we're vastly past our hour, going into our hour and a half here. But before we do, thanks. I've been trying to get different people on each week to get some different perspectives and different stories, and we definitely have had our share of that tonight. So very good to hear, because you guys did a lot of things that we didn't. So it was great to hear that you guys were able to get out and experience some of that stuff, because I was anxious to kind of hear some of this myself. So we're going to kind of hang our hat on this one. But before we do go, so two things real quick. Number one, if you didn't see the post, Judy Panko still has a lot of autographed CDs from Jeff Kramer that she is selling. You can contact her through the page. So get a hold of her if you're interested in one of those. And all of the proceeds, every dime goes to the Tourette's Foundation. So just kind of keep that in mind. I just ordered some, and shameless plug, Paul. Here we go. This one's mine. If you're still interested, I still have some shirts left over from the 50th. They say the summer tour 2025 on the back. Let me know. They're $20 a shot. This is the medium gray, and I also have a light gray, and I've got a handful of sizes yet. I want to say from small up to about 3X. So if anyone's interested, just reach out to me over the page, and we'll be glad to set something up. I can ship it out to you, all that kind of good stuff. So, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for coming in and giving us some good perspective here on definitely some things that we missed out on.
It's past John's bedtime.
Like I said, I really wish I met you. And Nate, it was a pleasure meeting you, brother. I said you're one of the highlights of my week.
Listen, we had a blast. We went out and we did dinner a couple nights and hung out. We did trivia.
Winners of Jaws trivia.
I was so proud. I was so proud.
That's right. We owned them. Even the girl on the phone cheating next to us. We beat her too. That's right. Awesome. It was, yeah. And honestly, it was as much, if not more, about the people. And I keep saying that. I'm going to say it the rest of my life as it was anything else. It's one of the reasons why I didn't go do a lot of things, because honestly, I wanted to have time. When someone said, "Hey, do you want to go do this?" I wanted to be able to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was really cool. So thank you for that. Awesome. Well, as is the tradition here, guys, we're going to do a little fins up. That's how we take ourselves out. And we're going to let Quinn take us out. It's you guys at home. Thanks for hanging out. John, thank you for joining us from Scotland. And Paul.
Thank you for having me.
Paul's coming regular. Appreciate you hanging out with us as well, buddy.
I'll come back anytime you want.
Absolutely.
Awesome, guys. All right. Here we go.
To you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
Good night, everybody. Have a good one.
All right.
Take care.
Good night. Awesome. There you go. Boom.